For students renting off campus in Ontario, navigating the rental terminology can feel like a full-time course without the benefit of a credit, unfortunately. Two terms often confuse people are student housing versus rooming houses, and understanding the difference matters for safety, legal protection, and avoiding unexpected landlord-tenant surprises. That's why I've created this video to give you the lowdown that you need to know. My name is Weiting Bollu. I am the CEO of Openroom, which hundreds of thousands of people use today, and you can too, to search for court orders related to tenancy disputes. I've made so many mistakes in rental housing that I've now spent thousands of hours dissecting it so you don't repeat my mistakes. Be smarter than I was, because I know you can. Let's talk about student housing. The thing is, student housing is not defined as a separate category under the Residential Tenancies Act, also known as the RTA. In most cases, if a student signs a lease for a dwelling unit, whether it's an apartment, a house, or a basement, the agreement actually still falls under the RTA, just like when you're not a student, meaning students have full tenant rights. These rights include proper notice of entry, rent control, with some exceptions on certain units, deposit limits such as only last month's rent allowed, and eviction protections. In a typical student rental, students may sign one joint lease with roommates or individual leases for each bedroom. The key is that the unit itself is self-contained, meaning it has its own kitchen and bathroom. If each student signs a separate lease with the landlord, each is considered a tenant under the RTA with individual rights and responsibilities. In some municipalities, rental housing is licensed. Find out if your area is subject to licensing before you rent. So for example, the city of Brampton has one where all landlords operating rental units with anywhere from 1 to 2 dwelling units must have their rental licensing, RRL license. Operating without a license is illegal and subject to fines and penalties. Unlike regular rental housing, rooming houses are heavily regulated by municipal laws, fire codes, or zoning rules. Each city sets different rules. Some require a rooming house license, others restrict them in certain neighborhoods. So for example, Toronto has a requirement. Some landlords incorrectly market an unlicensed rooming house as student housing, hoping that no one asks questions. But if the property is not licensed and there's a fire or bylaw inspection, students could end up with no place to live. So you want to be very, very careful. Warning signs for students. 1. There's no lease or roommate agreement. It's like, don't worry, we're chill here. It's a major concern. 2. Rent is payable in cash only. Stay away. Ugh. Number 3, the landlord says the RTA doesn't apply because you're a student. Nuh-uh. Overcrowding, as in too many occupants for the number of bedrooms, is not okay. All right, it's time for our rental trio, the top 3 takeaways on how you as a student can protect yourself. First, ask for specifics, like whether the property is a licensed rooming house, a licensed student rental, or a licensed rental unit if it's applicable in that city. Your safety is at risk, so you're going to want to know about fire safety, working smoke detectors, exits, and posted evacuation routes. And 2, get a written lease using the Ontario Standard Lease Form. They must use this because it's standardized by the province of Ontario. A Google Doc sheet that they made up just doesn't count. Number 3, confirm that the landlord is actually the legal owner or the property manager can prove that they have the right to actually rent the unit. Ultimately, choosing housing isn't just about being close to campus. It's about safe, legal, and being able to sleep without worrying that there's a surprise inspection or questionable housemates. Consider it your first real-world assignment. No group project required. All right, that's it for now. If you felt like you learned something new today, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next week.